to Unit 10. This week we focus our beginning on looking at the concept of the Messiah and the latter prophets. The importance for this week is we begin looking at the actual prophetic material that focuses specifically on the Messiah. Your reading this week will come again from Groningen. Read the summary and prelude to the prophets on pages 408 to 420, and then chapters 13, 14, and 15 in the Groningen book. And then be sure to watch the video posted in the Blackboard shell, and then also answer the questions on the discussion board. Now, this week, as we shift looking at the latter prophets, we're going to start with chapter 13, Messianic Concept in the Non-Canonical Prophets. In that chapter, Groningen's going to cover basically the eschatological and messianic significance of Elijah and Elisha. Of course, we know the significance for Elijah from the New Testament, the expectations, the questions that are constantly asked in the Gospels about John the Baptist being Elijah, or whether Jesus is Elijah returned. And so we'll discuss the significance of those prophetic figures for understanding the Messiah. In chapter 14, the prophet's messianic message for the nations is considered. Particularly important here is the message of Joel. We see that quoted by Peter in his sermon in Acts 2. So we see that the expectation for the new age that was dawning. In chapter 15, Groningen's going to discuss the messianic message for Israel, specifically in the prophecies of Amos and Hosea. Both these figures are cited again in the New Testament. In Amos, the bringing in of the Gentiles, we see the citation there in Acts 15 as the Jerusalem council is discussing the role that the Gentiles should play in the new church. And the prophecy of Hosea, we know that Matthew uses that when he talks about God bringing his son out of Egypt as Jesus comes out of Egypt, quoting Hosea from chapter 11. So we can start to see the importance of these prophetic writings and even prophetic figures like Elijah and Elisha for understanding who the Messiah will be and how this affected the New Testament interpretation.